Incoming transmission.
The Klingonese word of the day is Tafog.
These are the voyages of the starship Enterprise.
So, this is a huge victory for the good guys.
Scotty, beam me up.
Resistance is futile. Live long and prosper.
To boldly go where no man has gone before.
Greetings and welcome to the Computer Resumed podcast, the show covering the entire Star Trek franchise in chronological order for fans new and old. I'm your host, writer-comedian, Mr. Todd A. Davis. Once, we were bitter enemies. Now, she tolerates me. Please welcome back from the BQN Network, it's Amy Nelson. Yay!
Yay!
Hi!
Hi, Todd, my nemesis.
It's only because I'm jealous because you're so good at math.
No, listeners. We were on a Trek trivia show.
Yes.
Trek Masters is what we're calling it.
Yes.
And I have to bow down. You've been on multiple times.
With varied results.
Yes, varied results, very similar to me.
Davies, listen, we shouldn't hate each other. We should really point all of that energy towards Davy. He's the one who puts Trekkies at odds and
exactly right.
Instigating heated rivalries.
He is. That is exactly right. He's like, this person from this podcast versus this person from this podcast.
Hey, you know, that this peaceful person who likes Star Trek and this other peaceful person who likes Star Trek, I'm gonna get them all roiled up at each other.
Exactly. I won't do an Australian accent, but you got it.
Wait, you hear that? That's all my Australian listeners unsubscribing. For folks who maybe are newer to our show and weren't around for your first appearance, tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, how did you get into the fandom, and then how did BQN come about, and what's the genesis there?
Well, Star Trek for me started way back, TNG first run.
Nice.
And when I decided to become a teacher, and they're like, you know what, you need to decorate your room that shows your personality, and so your kids feel comfortable, you know, all that gooey fun stuff. And I'm like, what do I like? I like Star Trek. And my younger brother at the time, who was the original series, I ransacked all of his stuff, but it was original series stuff. And I'm like, I'm a TNG girl. So I started with TOS, but I really made sure everyone knew TNG. So I now have more TNG, you know, collectibles and stuff. Thank goodness.
Yeah.
So
kind of a lifelong fan. When did the idea of podcasting about Star Trek come into focus for you? How'd that all get started?
You know, I really have to blame Apple. They did some new reboot on their phone, and there was this icon that said podcast. And I'm like, what is this button? And I pushed it, and they're like, search podcast. And again, I'm like, well, what do I like? I like Star Trek. And so I searched Star Trek. And at the time, there were not, and we're talking 2014. There were not a lot of Star Trek podcasts. The main one was Trek FM. And that is where I got my start. I followed and listened to all the shows on Trek FM. Shout out to all my former podcasts on that network. But
Wow.
then, as you know, things happen. I wanted to start my own little network, and so BQN came into existence. And I have been podcasting basically for 11 years. 2016 was my first year
Wow.
podcasting, so 10 years. Yeah.
Gosh, congratulations. That's awesome. Yeah, because you're paired up with of course we mentioned Davey Sava Willett and what are the other I know Matt Jennings is doing something with you guys, right?
Yep, he's on Cinema Z.
That's right.
Yep. I mean, if you want to name them all.
He owes me a guest appearance. Like,
Okay, well, I will get on that for you because yeah, Matt
yeah.
Jennings. And Thad Hay and Chrissy DeClercq-Zalagi, they do our Infinite Diversity.
Yes.
We have Mark White, who also does the Cinema Z, and then my co-hosts, Christos Gianaris and Kelvin Wood, who we do All Good Things.
Mm.
And then Kelvin Wood and I and Kristen Stratulet from Canada do our live YouTube show twice a year called The View Screen because it's a talk show like
Ah,
The View, but
of
The View Screen.
course. How has Kelvin not started a sideshow called the Kelvin Timeline?
Well, that is his handle on everything. So if
Okay.
you are on anywhere, Kelvin's timeline, that's my co-host. Yep, he's got
Gotcha.
that nailed down.
So, safe to say, so TNG girly.
Yes,
So I imagine Picard's your captain.
absolutely. Yes.
Okay. Now, I asked this of people, and I can't remember if I've asked you or not, but we'll get into it again. So we already know who your captain is, but who do you think is the best captain? As an objective Star Trek fan, who is the best captain? Because it's not always the same answer.
Right. So I it's still Picard, but I'm not gonna lie. Nala Aka from Starfleet Academy, her ideals as well, one, because I have been a teacher for most of my life.
I was gonna say, let's not ignore the obvious. She's a
Yeah,
teacher. Come
but
on.
yeah, her teaching and how she puts that always at the front of her decisions. For me, she's the best captain.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's a good answer. That's a good answer. Normally I don't get, well, I guess I haven't had a lot of folks on to ask the question since Starfleet Academy's aired,
Right.
but now she definitely throws a different vibe into that question of when you're picking captains. Like, yeah.
I mean, she can dress you down like that war college guy that, let his kids,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, cheat
Uh-huh.
and she knows how to, oh, I forget all the names, but the
It's okay.
half and Thok, Laura Thok, like,
Mhm.
and then she's so good with the kids and so good with everything. It's
Yeah.
just perfection.
Yeah, I think between her and her number one, and of course the amazing Tig Notaro
Yeah.
as one of the professors as well. Uh, Gosh, you can stop there. It's incredible. You throw in Robert Picardo, like
Right.
it's so
And she
great.
has her own demons. Like
Oh yeah.
she gave up. She left Starfleet and she had the issue with Caleb and she had to deal with those consequences. So she even started first season unlike Picard that could do no wrong, type of
Mhm,
thing. Like
mhm.
they just learned how to develop her and I think she is a great captain.
Now, this next part, I'm going to ask because I'd not counted on talking about Starfleet Academy with you, but since you brought up Nalaake's demons, let's explore that for just a second. If I'm recalling correctly, the thesis of her whole thing is surviving's actually worse than dying.
Hmm.
Like the idea of like survivor's guilt is what I took away from that of like she had this big trauma and she's she's lanthanite. Yeah,
Mhm.
she's part lanthanite. So she's going to have to carry that for a long, long time. And I'm a big fan of the franchise Highlander. If you recall, not only the movies, but the series from the 90s. And I think it wasn't touched. It was very romanticized, the idea of like living for hundreds of years. You get to be in all these different periods of time, and and all of that's great. But if you read some of the more thoughtful vampire stories, or even there's a section of Sandman with a human character who refuses to die. And at one point, that character expresses what it's like to deeply love someone, grow with them, watch them die, and then watch the memory of.
Mhm.
Um, does that bring about any thoughts for you when you talk about influencing young people as a teacher? Do you see your students as part of your living legacy, I guess?
Yeah, I basically I don't have to, but I mean I have to because I personally do not have children. I have 20 amazing nieces and nephews. So
Wow.
I can, spread my little knowledge and wisdom and teach them things like that. But yeah, the what I like to leave with my students is that, just like Nala Aki, that the legacy of love and compassion towards other, and make the right choice now. And then the consequences will work out if you make the right choice right now. So I really have found that in her. Like, I want to do that more with my students.
That's great. Yeah, I from my last position in law enforcement was a campus police officer at a small
Mm,
college here. And on the side of our cars, on the side of our cruisers, instead of saying serve and protect, it said to educate, protect. I took
yes.
I took that really seriously. So when I
Yeah.
would catch a kid doing something stupid, more often than not,
Hmm.
um, it was, hey, do you know what a drug charge carries in the state of South Carolina? Listen, I know someone upset you and you want to go deck them. You're going to sit in a cell right next to them. Like it,
Hmm.
and I was like, and that's going to stick with you. You're going to have to tell every employer about that.
Hmm.
So it was a lot of that, and just trying to get kids to stop, think. I was like,
Well,
if you
yeah.
remember nothing else, remember these two words: stop, think. And then what you said, make good decisions. Just
Yeah.
take in
And
the
like,
information and make good decisions.
yeah, and in episode 2 with the Beta Zeds, like, she trusted these youth and said, let
Mhm.
the youth delegates do it. Let
Mm.
them convince. They are our future.
Uh-huh.
And I'm just like, that's exactly where we get all these old white people out of the like, we need
Yeah.
fresh ideas. We need people with compassion, and let's trust that we are raising them and teaching them the correct values so that they can represent us and take care of us.
Yes,
And that was,
absolutely.
again, another great episode that she did. She's like, no, we're going to let our youth speak and, speak for us.
Yeah, I tried to convey to someone how important Star Trek Starfleet Academy is right now in terms of the legacy of Star Trek. We're seeing these people who are doing theoretical astrophysics off the top of their head. Like, and I'm talking life-saving space maneuvers, and doing all these kinds of things to save hundreds, if not thousands, if not millions of lives hanging in the balance. But with Starfleet Academy, you get to see people who don't have it together just yet. They're
Hmm.
close. They're very smart. They're very talented. They're very driven. But I think that's so important to see for this newer generation of Trek fans coming
Hmm.
along. The idea of working with computers that are arguably the most advanced, like dangerously, scarily advanced,
Yeah.
but at the same time, not letting it deter you from making good choices and from bettering yourself so that you don't have to rely on those things and that you can take those decision making skills forward into real life, be it
Yeah,
on a starship or here on the planet Earth in the 21st century.
exactly.
Um, anyways, so we've got this episode shifting gears.
I know. I'm like, man, I could so talk more about Starfleet Academy. Oh,
I know.
I thought it was a good show. Did you like it? How?
I really did. I think it is very different. It's a different vibe, which all of New Trek, every
Has
show
been.
has been a different vibe altogether.
And can we just celebrate that for once? Like,
Yeah. There is
everyone's like,
there
it's so different. Yes, it's
yeah.
different.
Yeah. There is now there is now a Trek for every mood.
Right.
If you're feeling silly, go watch Lower Decks. If you're feeling
Mhm.
nostalgic, watch Picard,
Yeah.
and the list goes on and on.
Yeah.
But for this episode, we chatted a little bit before about weddings and
Yes.
how the arguably the most romantic day of anybody's life should be their wedding. But boy, is it rife with comedy sometimes. I can attest to my own wedding, which I laugh at. My wife will probably give a lot of eye rolls at. But even other weddings I've been in or other weddings I've just attended, there is no shortage of things that you just have to laugh at. But Strange New Worlds has done a really great job of presenting these romantic comedies. Like I think in earlier Trek, certainly in Legacy, I don't even know that they really broached this in TOS, but like the idea of a romantic comedy story.
Mhm.
How do you feel about romantic comedies? Are you a fan of them? Do you have a favorite? What do you think about what are your overall general thoughts about this romantic comedy episode, Wedding Bell Blues?
Um, okay. I am just gonna lay it out. When I first watched it in, live,
Yeah,
absolutely loved it. And then this go around, I'm like, this did not for me hold up. Only
really.
because in Star Trek, I was like, what is the fun technology twist that I'm not seeing? And it was,
Mm.
oh, he's Q. Okay, I've seen that 20 gazillion times. So there wasn't like any technology that was holding my interest. And so then for it just being a rom-com, I just needed more for it being Star Trek. Now, as a regular rom-com, it's absolutely adorable. And it's like, oh, we need to do this, but it's the wrong thing. And oh, let's just snap our fingers. And then it's like rom-com totally. And then when I think about like the other episodes within Star Trek, and the one that this reminds me of, and I forgot the name, if you can help me,
Yeah.
season one, where the Q and they've got the bayonets and the pig
Oh, that's
Neapolitan.
that's the one where Riker gets turned
Yeah,
into a
Riker gets the
yeah, yeah, yeah.
powers. Yeah,
Uh, Q
Q something.
is it Q squared? Yeah, it's
Yes.
yeah,
But that
I've
episode,
taken too many shots to the head.
but I mean, that sort of reminded me of it, where the entire episode was, taken away by snap of a finger. And then we have to, because even at one point, they're like, well, maybe we just have to get married and end the charade, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And that was sort of the thing. Well, just give everyone powers and then we'll know that Riker's Q and he'll be done. So I was just missing something with this episode on the second go around. And Todd, to be fair, I surprised myself in saying that because I really did enjoy this episode when it first came on.
I will say, I guess I'll put myself in the advocate for this episode where you find the faults and then we'll come
Yeah.
together after that. So I didn't catch or I didn't recall a lot of the production design with this episode, which subtly hinted at certain things. I know there's the seeing the reflection of what this character actually looks like, which
Mm-hmm.
was okay. It's established. Okay, he's Vulcan bartender. Okay, now he's an Andorian wedding planner. Okay,
Right. Yeah.
but there's the very subtle, and maybe this is a thing with people who work with audio and especially podcasters because we listen so closely to every little inflection, every little background noise. Not only the snaps when something changes, but I also noticed him outside the window of Spock's quarters. Did you see that?
Mm-mm.
He's floating outside the window. Like he's looking in the window like a perv, or like a little kid, like an 8,000-year-old kid. I was like, oh wow, I definitely did not catch that on the first go around.
Mm.
But to your point of there's not really any a technology fix, which would be very stereotypical of Star Trek. I will actually argue that I think the stakes are even higher because there is no technological fix. They are up against seemingly an all powerful being who is motivated by emotions. And the one person that's there to combat it is the person with no emotions. So things
Right.
are hanging in the balance, and there is no, well, let's just reverse the polarity, channel it through the deflector dish. Like no. It's we gotta show arguably, and they kind of rule out the idea of like anger and violence. Like it worked punching Corby
Mm-hmm.
one time. That did not work with anyone else. So they hypothesize correctly that we have to go with the strongest emotion possible, love. Now, I think there's something to be said about Corby not being able to express that
Right.
logically because he's kind of in the throes of like that hyper romantic love that the love at first sight type phase of love,
Mm-hmm.
whereas Spock feels something that has been questioned up and down, has been thought through every possible way. So he is, I'll say, logically, but again has trouble expressing that. So I think the stakes here are huge because you have a reality altering being whose only weakness is emotion, and the only person who's really capable of stopping this is has trouble expressing emotion, has trouble expressing base emotion. So that will be my argument. That will be my stance to counter what you've put forward. How do you feel about that?
Okay, so very interesting you say that because, yeah, the punching worked for one person and not anyone
Mm-hmm.
else.
Mm-hmm.
So, as you were talking about this power of love, and I'm like, well, then it should have been Dr. Corby and Nurse Chapel finding themselves beyond the charade and finding their love, but
Mm.
it wasn't. It had to go through Spock because our Trelane slash Q little child was there, I guess, because of Spock. And so Spock, listen to this. He had to get Nurse Chapel to find her love of Dr. Corby because
Mm.
it wasn't for him because she
Mm-hmm.
doesn't love him. And so he had to, and that is pretty miraculous for him to put his feelings aside and say, how do I get her to find her love for this other man? That
Okay.
is self-sacrifice for the
Yeah.
crew. That's
Yeah.
huge that Spock did that. And
Yeah.
that he did it with the moon, the stars, and the sun with that bracelet.
Yeah. I think to sum it up, the old adage of if you love something,
You
set
let
it
it
free.
go.
You
Oh,
know, this whole thing,
yes.
he has to express the greatest love
Mm-hmm. Which
in
isn't his.
letting it go. Yeah.
Yes.
Ah,
Oh,
man. Well, listen, I don't know how well we've stayed spoiler free. So before we go much further, let's get to this week's recap. Brought to you in part by our Patreon supporters Rev J, Jerry Antimano, Kitty B, Ed Milner, Fleet Admiral First Class Fred Sims, and Ren.
Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
3 months after the Gorn conflict, Enterprise has been repaired at Starbase 1, and the crew prepare to celebrate the UFP's 100th anniversary.
Spock.
Christine.
This is Dr. Corby.
Your fellowship director.
Dr. Corby is my date.
And on that note, we cue the music.
Spock is given a drink by an unfamiliar Vulcan bartender, and the next day he wakes up in a very different reality where the crew are preparing to celebrate his and Chapel's wedding. The same unfamiliar being now appears as an Andorian wedding planner. Corby is aware of the change and confronts Spock, who regains his memories after punching Corby. At the wedding ceremony, Chapel regains her memories after Spock recites a poem that Corby once read to her. They confront the wedding planner, who is revealed to be a childlike extra-dimensional being and is reprimanded by his father. The beings leave and reality returns to normal.
And there was much rejoicing.
Hi, this is Conan Trenier from Star Trek Enterprise. You are listening to the Computer Resume podcast.
Let's dive into, let's get into some of the more crunchy details about this. And we kind of hinted at it a little bit. The idea of this entity, which does appear in TOS, famously played by Liberace? Was it Liberace? No, it's not, is it? I knew I should have looked this up. Damn it. A better podcast.
It might have been Liberace's clothing. So
okay.
It just let me go down to the Liberace Museum here in Las Vegas and see if anything's missing.
There you go. There you go. But yeah, this character does appear in TOS, dealing with Kirk and the gang and all that stuff. So it's but here, with the presence of a cameo, of a voice cameo from John Delancey, it's implied that this character is not only Trulane from the original series, but that Trulane is also a Q.
Right.
And not only are they a Q, they are the son of the Q played by John Delancey. So if you look on IMDb, Rhys Darby's character in this episode is credited as wedding planner, period. So this is kind of a official, unofficial statement of some lore manipulation. How do we feel about this as a hardcore Trekkie, as a TNG fan, where of course where Q first appeared, and it's also tying in stuff from TOS. How do we feel about this?
Yeah. This really has a chef's kiss to it, because if you pull in beta canon with Q squared, and that has the connection first time, but again, it's beta canon, so not everyone knows.
Yep.
But that makes the connection that Trulane is a Q. So if you put that aside and just be like, oh, that's wonderful wishing, and then you get introduced to this episode where we have our Trelane character being fathered by Q, it just connects the dots and it all makes sense.
Yeah.
But it already did in beta canon. So this really is chef's kiss of bringing in and connecting TOS, TNG and everything, and beta canon.
We do get the rare opportunity for them to step off the sets of the 1701. We get this, albeit just the one set of Starbase One,
Mm-hmm.
which is decked out for the Federation anniversary slash wedding slash not wedding. um, but we also get a lot of most of our main cast outside of their Starfleet standard issue uniforms. We get and again like a wide variety of different things. Like it's rare to see Ortegas outside of a duty uniform. Here we get the Class A uniform.
Mm-hmm.
We get technically our first in continuity Scotty in a kilt.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yes.
we we get Sam like very dapper in this really nice green suit.
Mm-hmm.
Ladies, gowns of every color, shape, size, like really, highlighting the physicality, but also some elements of their character as well. Um, and of course, Trulane, we joked about Liberace, of course, but like costume to the nth degree. that is one thing I've noticed about Strange New Worlds is when they bring in these characters who are of some sort of power or status, their costume is beyond anything that you could possibly imagine. What did you think about the production design and costuming here? It's pretty great.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. I mean, even down to their dress uniforms as Captain's Pike, and then like on his shoulders, it's like this bright, flashy gold that matched perfectly, but like it stood out that it's like, yeah, you're going to a wedding. And I just shout out to Christina Chong, her dance moves with Spock, that interplay. We need to talk about that because that back and forth was
Yeah.
so brilliant. And I have measured my shoulders exactly. I mean, come on, it is perfect. And then here she is like, well, you're not supposed to measure them, you're supposed to feel them. Like,
Mhm.
and she's beautiful on her feet and how
Gorgeous. Yeah.
so light and the leaning and the choreography, whoever did that was really, really, really good, in my opinion.
Yeah, we got into a little bit of this with Ian Ramsey, aka Star Wrecked, when I had him on to discuss Subspace Rhapsody.
Mm,
Because we got a look at, oh yeah, Christina Chong has an album or two. Like
yes.
Celia Rose Gooding has a Grammy and a Tony
Yes.
nomination. Oh, Rebecca Romaine studied voice. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
she got into modeling and all that, but like studied voice. Like Star Trek is not in the habit of hiring slackers. They
Right.
hire really top-notch people across the board.
Hmm.
But yeah, I believe the Trek Queen of NYC, Flip Kiki, came on and said I should put this quote on a t-shirt, but like, well, here comes Christina Chong with that body yaddy yaddy.
Yeah.
But trained on the London stage. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, can sing, dance, and do it all. And yeah, the dance moves, like not only here, but we see them dance a couple times.
Hmm.
Not only here, but well, yeah, I guess throughout season 3 is when we get a lot of we get a lot of the Spock and Lon dancing, and it's fantastic. It's
Yeah.
so good. Her
Another
chemistry with Ethan Peck is amazing.
Yeah, agreed, agreed. Another thing about the costuming, like Jess Bush, the wedding, I'm not
Yes.
even going to say gown because it was a two-piece. And I was like, I
Mm,
saw that and I'm like, I could so do that. Number one, it is 10 times more comfortable.
I
And
bet.
if you're going to be moving, like every bride should be a two-piece. Like it, was brilliant. And the coloring on her, that teal, green, blue, and
Yes.
just brilliant.
Yeah, because you know, it throws you for a second of like she's not wearing white, and then
Yeah.
like if you think about it, like, oh well, of course, like
Exactly.
no, it's your day to look like a princess,
Mm-hmm.
whatever that means. Like, and for the guy too, like, yeah, like seriously, you know, everybody's still so hung up on, um, everybody's still so hung up on the tradition, you know, the white gown, get a tux, whatever. Dress like a Viking warrior if you want to. It is
Right.
your day to look and feel as romantic and powerful and kingly, or you know, a
Sexy
royal,
or
sexy.
whatever it
Yeah,
is
all of
that
the
you
things.
want to do.
All
Yeah.
of the things. Yeah. Yeah, you're
And
absolutely
then
right.
how funny was it when the wedding planner was going around, it's like, you, why did you wear that crown? Were you going to outdo the bride? Oh my gosh. That comedy was so delicious because you know there's people that show up the bride and you're like, what are you doing? This is not your wedding. That was funny
You
because we've
know,
all been there.
I was gonna say, this is a great transition moment into some wedding stories. I'll start with one of my own. We had, and I'll do my best to preserve the anonymity as much as I can here. Um, a friend of my wife showed up late, noisily,
Ooh.
and very inappropriately dressed.
Oh.
Very inappropriately dressed. Um, Proceeded to distract everyone from the ceremony, which was an outdoor ceremony. She got brought up in horse and carriage with her father. I rode up on horseback. Like it was, yeah. Yeah, we went all out for this. um, so they distracted from the ceremony and proceeded to get hammered drunk at the
Oh.
reception.
Mm.
And it was not hard, based on their lack of clothing, to shift some things over and flash my father and my aunt and uncle, and I think my wife's grandmother.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh.
We had disposable cameras on the table.
Mm.
I believe this year will be our 18th wedding anniversary. Those cameras have not been developed
Oh my gosh.
because we are scared of what we will find.
Okay, I'm laughing, but I'm still, you seriously have not developed them.
Nope, have not.
And this is okay with you and your wife.
Here's the thing. We hired professional photographers
Right.
who got incredible shots of.
Right.
It was a husband and wife team. So she followed my wife, he followed me and my guys.
Yeah.
Incredible shots, worth every penny, captured every moment of the day. I'm okay if we never see those photos.
Wow. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
I don't get me wrong, there is an element of curiosity.
Mm-hmm.
However,
On your 50th, Todd.
okay.
Can you make me that promise?
Oh boy. Okay. Yep. Well, yeah. If 50th or earlier, I will
Okay.
let you know.
I just think 50 years is enough time.
Yes.
I would like to say 20, but I'm not sure that you're there in 1 year.
I know it's she and I have come through a lot, including our own nuptials. But the other wedding story, I love weddings. Absolutely love weddings. Expressions of love, everybody dressed to the nines. You usually got great food, and you're either outside in nature or you're usually inside in some sort of architecturally um amazing structure of some sort. So yeah, love weddings. So one of the last things I did as a legal professional was I was invited to a a wedding of one of the lawyers I worked for. Um, the couple turns out she is very she 5 foot couple inches. He is over 6 feet tall. He's very, very big man. So, anyways, we get there and it's one of the oldest churches in our city, and it is a who's who of Greenville legal professionals. We're talking lawyers, judges, some higher up government officials. Like this is the event to be at. And my wife and I are nestled in with everybody else. Bride and groom walk down the aisle. It's beautiful. Get there. The minister opens his mouth and says, "Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today." It sounds like the man smoked every cigarette that he could ever find since the day he could grip a cigarette. It was just, it was, and here's the thing. Again, I love weddings. I love big, romantic expressions of love. So I've got my arm around my wife. I'm holding her tight. But if I start laughing, I'm shaking. I'm doing the shoulder bounce. I'm doing the belly jiggle, the whole thing. The problem is I've got my wife locked in. She's not going anywhere. So she's bouncing up and down. She's like, so, and the thing is, there's more. So the minister goes through and we finally calm ourselves down. And the minister looks at the groom. Repeat after me. State your name. And he goes, like he looks like a giant, talks like an ogre. Could, and the two of them back and forth for the vows. I started again. I started the shoulder shaking and belly bouncing, and my wife is like, "Would you let me go?" It was so bad to a point that I think people behind us caught what was going on, and my wife heard people snickering behind us.
Yeah.
It was just one of those things where it was just, oh man. Yeah. And it was another, and again, if anybody knows anything about lawyers, they are drinkers. So there were very few dry folks at that reception. Lot of drinking going on. Have you ever had any comic misfortunes at a wedding?
As you were describing how beautiful weddings are, now I'm sort of feeling like I missed out because I was raised Mormon, and like every Mormon wedding is the same. It's either in the temple and then you come back to the ward house and you have a reception that is literally the same no matter where, what state. It's all the same. So I'm a little sad that I don't get to experience what you have got to experience. And like no one drinks at Mormon weddings. They're all
of course. Of course.
So no, I have not had that experience.
Well, I will say, in addition to what I've seen, them being beautiful and occasionally being very funny, I've also seen them very cringe worthy of just like, oh no, you've made a terrible error. Don't do that. Don't do that. Please don't. We were at another wedding, and I will spare the anonymity of these folks, but needless to say, they are close to me and my wife. And the story goes that the in-laws did not get along at first, but over this couple's courtship and throughout their lives, they'd grown friendly and the whole thing. So at the wedding reception, they thought it would be a good idea because the bride and groom went to the same high school, and a lot of their high school friends they carried over into college, and of course were part of the wedding. They thought it would be a good idea to play the high school fight song. So they did. Okay. All right. Interesting choice.
Interesting choice.
Yeah. All right. Then they proceeded to the parents, specifically the mothers of the bride and groom, decided to choreograph a dance number to all of the embarrassing show theme songs that the bride and groom watched growing up as kids.
Okay.
Which, yeah, it's kind of, it's another thing of like, okay, again, another interesting choice.
Interesting choice, yeah.
But then you think, oh, it's your mother's.
Yeah.
And I think the bridesmaids doing this choreographed thing to the most embarrassing music, and you like at maybe a third of the way into it, people stopped watching the dance and locked eyes on the bride and groom, who were absolutely mortified,
Yeah.
like to tears, like just
Oh. That's not gonna break Q's spell.
Yeah, that is not gonna break Q's spell at all.
No.
It's one of those things where, and we knew some of the bridesmaids as well, and ended up talking to them later, and they were like, we tried to tell them this was a bad idea.
Wow.
But I think the thought process there was like, we want to show the bride and groom that we are close, that we are family, and so that we're, close together. Now I was like, oh, write a letter, do something else, anything
There's
else.
other ways to get that done. There's more than one way to skin a cat. Just saying.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And it was painful to watch. And it just, to a point where we saw them years later with the couple. We saw the couple years later, and they still nope, we don't want to talk about it. Just absolutely mortified. But yeah, so you're missing some things, but you're also you're avoiding other things.
Right. Yes. Now, the one thing where, remember when Spock was trying to tell his best man, Sam, is it?
Sam, yeah.
That this is not right. We can't go through with this. And he's like, oh, you have cold feet. And I'm like, oh, that is so cute. And of course, as the best man, that is your job.
Yep.
And I'm like, okay, perfect. That's what he should say. I mean, he's missing the point, da, da, da. But then even to Captain Pike, oh, you've got cold feet. My feet have nothing to do with being cold. I have a similar experience, but it sort of was reversed. I was the stubborn one. I must have been under some kind of Q spell, because my mother, right before she was gonna, take me out of the bride's dressing room, looked at me in the eyes and said, "It is not too late. We can cancel."
Wow.
Yeah, that everyone knew it was wrong but me. So this
Oh,
was a Trelane trick, but in the inverse.
yeah.
Everyone else was like looking at me like, "What is wrong with you, Nelson?" Young and stupid. I was 20. Don't get
Oh,
married at
wow.
20. Young and stupid.
I think with our close group of friends, at least amongst the guys, someone has taken it upon themselves, be it a best man or close friend or whatever, to at some point pull the groom aside and just say, "Are you sure?"
Yeah.
And which anybody listening to this, if you ever wind up in that position of, groomsman, best man, or even if you're just the best friend at the event, do your part. At some point, say, "Hey, look, here's my keys. If you want to go, here you
Yeah.
go."
Yeah.
It's are you sure? Are you
Yeah.
sure? And unfortunately, we've seen enough of even within our group, some of the relationships end less than amicably.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And the friends are left going, "Hey, we're here for you."
Yeah.
Luckily the friends, "Hey, stuff happens. We get it.
Yeah.
We're here for you." But hopefully you have those friends who say, "All right, let's," and question, "Hey, look, are you
Hmm.
sure?"
Yeah.
It's such a good thing to do. It can come off really harsh, but I think as long as it's coming from a good place, you kind of
Exactly.
you'll end up really appreciating, hey, someone
Hmm.
said, "Hey, let's double check. Let's make sure." Because I mean, presumably you only do it once, and it certainly doesn't fix anything. The people who go into, "Oh, well, we'll just get married. That'll fix everything." No,
No.
no, you're talking about bank accounts. You're talking about, 401ks. You're talking about life insurance. You're talking about all kinds of stuff. So yeah, it is not a fix to anything, but, yeah, it's hopefully you weren't too scarred by,
No, and I mean, to your point, I mean, I was grateful that my mother asked me. I mean, years later,
of
hindsight,
course,
of course,
of
but
course.
yeah, very grateful.
That's good. That's good. Well, do you have anything else about this episode? Anything else that stood out to you?
Yeah, can we please talk about Ortega and Uhura and the brother,
Oh,
that little
yes.
interplay? Okay, so it's played off as, oh, we're gonna tease my friend, we're gonna tease your sister.
Hmm.
And yes, spoiler, we know the rest. There wasn't really anything between them. But at that time, we didn't know.
Yep.
So
Yep.
can you answer me? Did you want there something to go on with Uhura and little brother, or were you happy that it was just this adorably cute, flirtatious, friendly thing?
I saw that Celia Rose Gooding wanted a chance for Uhura to branch out and have more interactions that were not so her the comm officer, which
Right.
good call. Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. This is a chance to explore a different side of Uhura than what we know from the 3 seasons of the original series and the movies.
Hmm.
So yeah, let's see Uhura fall in love, or at least some sort of flirtation that could potentially lead to something.
Hmm.
The casting was great. I thought they had good chemistry, and to be honest, I'm down. Now, in hindsight, we've of course seen through season 3. We're actually about to start season 4 coming up in another month or two. Um, we know that there are a couple of other episodes that are set up here in this episode. The seed is planted
Right.
at least for 3 different other episodes, probably more. Just blanking on them, but the documentary episode being one of them.
Yep. Yep.
And that's a very important episode. I'm looking forward to diving into that. But in terms of this romantic relationship, I'm inclined to reserve judgment until all the facts are in or until all the footage is shot. So that, and I got into this when we discussed Subspace Rhapsody. If you recall, they announced, hey, we're going to do a musical episode, and the floodgates opened with every hater
I know.
coming out of the woodwork to be like, Star Trek isn't musical. And again, I took the stance of how about we watch the episode 1st and see how it goes. And I feel like they knocked it out of the park. Not everyone agrees with me, and that's okay. So again, staying on point with this romance between Erica's brother, Beto?
Yeah,
Beto?
Beto. Beto.
Yeah, Beto. I'm excited. I hope he comes back in season 4. Like I dig the character. I really dig the characters surrounding Ortegas because and we catch a glimpse here of Ortegas not being super okay with everything that happened last episode. Hegemony Part 2.
Yep.
This is a soldier. I mean, hell, Boimler called it out when he saw her on the bridge. You're a war hero, which he admires. But there's a dark side to that. My father served in Vietnam. There is stuff that he has still not told me of what he saw and what he experienced. And when you're talking about going up against the Gorn, you're talking about this very ruthless, very bloodthirsty species, and Erica catches the brunt of it, quite literally takes it to the chest and bleeds out, saving her crewmates. She is not okay. She is definitely not okay. Someone this makes me think of is actually Jet Reno, played by Tig Notaro. She was an engineer who, when her ship ran aground, charged herself with keeping whatever crewmates she could find alive. That takes a toll on a person. She is not okay. If you think I'm wrong, go watch Discovery again. Jet Reno is not okay.
Yeah.
If you need further proof, look at Todd Stashwick in Picard when he's sitting in 10 forward and he talks about the Battle of Wolf 359.
Yeah.
Star Trek doesn't normally get me to audibly respond, but this had me sit up and give, and I'm going to have to bleep this out, but it had me literally sit up and go, oh, and my wife didn't catch it. She didn't, because she has more important things in her head, like our finances and the well-being of our dog and our mortgage. I know Star Trek and comic books. Anyway.
A good equal division. I see you, Todd.
Yes. Listen, I kill spiders. I open pickle jars. She handles a lot of other things. But when he says the Battle of Wolf 359, I was like, oh no. And Kat was like, what's wrong? I was like, buckle up. This is going to be a doozy. And boy, was it. Captain Shaw is not okay. Of course, his fate is what it is. But like in that moment, he pulls the curtain back and you see, oh, this is a man who is not okay. And again,
it's hard because Star Trek, I mean, in any show, like PTSD and trauma, this is not something you get over in one episode. I'm sorry, or 2 episodes. But as a TV show, you cannot show PTSD every single episode for years and years and years.
Right.
So we get these hints, and I just wish that those who are complaining like, well, PTSD is in you and it takes years. And I'm like, okay, let's recognize that, and then recognize when she sees the reflection, like that trauma, put that in for a year for her or put it in for a month. But we get to see more of it, you know, especially when she's trapped on the planet, you know, later on in future seasons, you know, that enemy mine
Oh, yes.
born one.
Mhm.
But can we put that into context of PTSD takes a long time, and just because we're only seeing a glimpse of it here and a glimpse of it here, like it affects people, and let's give it its due weight. And
Yeah.
we get that here. The last scene of this episode is heavy,
Yeah.
especially when we're coming off this wedding bell blues and oh, it's Q and never, and then we get that dropped. Whoo.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, you know, and it's mentioned in dialogue, but you don't really feel it. And it's not until you kind of look at it again of like, oh, hegemony happened 3 months ago for these folks. So it probably took her much of that time to heal physically.
Mm-hmm.
And now she's trying to get back in the saddle to get back to work. And she has not taken the time to do the work upstairs. Like there's stuff going on behind the eyes, as it were.
Well, and I, in my head canon, because my favorite character is Troy. I have Beta Z on my license plate, by the way.
Nice.
In my mind, yes, they are seeing some kind of counselor. I know this is pre-TNG, but I'm still going there. But the point is, even if Ortegas is talking to someone about it, going to the doctor, whatever, you're gonna get triggers at the drop of a hat. She's out punching, doing a workout, and it comes to her. Like
Yep.
you just don't know when that's going to happen.
Yeah.
And I loved it. It was good that they did that.
Yeah. I'll be a little extra vulnerable here. This past weekend, I had some PTSD crop up for me from my time in law enforcement. It was something happened while I was driving. My wife was riding shotgun, and I ended up snapping a little bit, and it wasn't pleasant. But that was
Mm-hmm.
something that I had to explain to her why I said what I said in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Of like this was something I had not dealt with. And
Mm-hmm.
it's absolutely wild, you know, to see that stuff, seemingly small things.
Yes.
I think about Captain America, the Winter Soldier. Steve Rogers walks into a support group with
Mm-hmm.
the soldiers talking about their time and this woman's talking about swerving to miss a plastic bag and getting pulled over for DUI. She goes, I thought it was an IED. That stuff doesn't go
No.
away.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and
Mm-hmm.
it takes time. And you know, I took one psychology class in college, and one of the big takeaways was that psychology, the study of this science is so vital,
Mm-hmm.
and it is one of the youngest sciences. There's still so much stuff that we don't know. Like, and
Mm-hmm.
I mentioned a few moments ago, my father served in Vietnam. They had just stopped I think some of them were even still referring to it as shell shock.
Uh-huh.
That was still very much a thing from when my dad came home. Like,
Yeah.
imagine if those guys had talked to
Yeah.
somebody, you know, and dealt with their issues. A lot of them self-medicated,
Yeah.
and a whole host of things. I count myself very lucky that I'm able to have this platform, that I can talk about things. And I've been very lucky with the veterans that have come on the show and
Mm.
expressed, yeah, Star Trek is my safe place. Star
Yeah.
Trek, like if I'm having a rough day, my spouse sees it, they say, hey, you want to
Mm-hmm.
put on an episode of Deep Space Nine? I don't think I'm out of place in saying my good buddy Patrick Cunningham, who served over in Iraq. if you ask him his favorite character, he will say Nog.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He sees much of that struggle reflected in that character.
Mm-hmm.
That yeah, it's a big one for him, and
Yeah.
so many folks I've talked to.
You know, it's interesting you bring that up because as a science, which it is, and how new it is, but we are getting breakthroughs on like how complex our nervous system is, where it is,
Yeah.
how to regulate it, what it looks like with different external and
Mm-hmm.
internal stimuli,
Mm-hmm.
and how well, and I'm learning about it in the education world. Like, how do we help our students stay regulated
Yeah.
when I'm dealing with students? What are you looking at? Why are you looking at me? Did you see it? You know, and their nervous system goes 0 to 100 in 0.5 seconds. And it's like, okay, that's a nervous system. These so many children have dealt with trauma, serious trauma in their lives, and their
Mm.
nervous system, and they haven't worked it through. So it stays inside your nervous system. And then, yeah, something is going to happen and your body doesn't know how to react, and so it's like that we
Yeah.
need to learn, and science and all of this research and development is helping us understand this other side of our body that we have only started to recognize. You
Yeah.
know, losing an arm, that's like, but now let's deal with the mental part of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And for those folks, it's been my experience. One of the best things that you can learn with something like that is patience.
Yeah.
And it's hard. It's really hard. And hopefully one of the things that helps is Star Trek. And you
Yes.
know, the for the folks that complain about Michael Burnham spending
Mm.
4 episodes crying, I was like, well, first of all, it's a serialized thing, so what she's crying about just happened.
Right.
And yeah, like saw another friend killed. Like the
Hmm.
idea, I mean, she says it in the pilot episode that she's responsible for the death of, and she knows that number. She
Right.
knows that number. And I recall saying that to somebody who was like, not only does she know that number, I bet she knows their names. I bet she
Hmm.
knows all of their names. Um, you know, it takes time. So if you're someone who is dealing with that, hopefully you find you know some of your struggle reflected in some of these characters, and you're able to identify and watch them grow and learn and change and deal over time. If you're
Hmm.
somebody who has somebody like that in your life and you're finding patience to be not one of your strong suits. I know that's that
Mm.
my wife would definitely say that I have trouble with patience. Again, watch Discovery and see, you know, see the characters spend a couple episodes crying and learn that like, yeah, it takes time. It takes
Yeah.
patience. Well, we've done a lot of praising this episode about, gosh, seemingly everything from the narrative to the characterization. We've gotten talks about the production design, and we've cheered
Costuming.
costuming. Yes, we have sung this episode's praises. But as we do every episode, we ask the question lovingly: who do we blame? This episode was written by Kirsten Beyer and David Reed. Now, Kirsten's last work in the timeline was season 2, episode 14, Down Among the Lotus Eaters, which we discussed with Star Trek Discovery's Orville Cummings. And David's last was just 2 episodes later, Lost in Translation, which we discussed with Charisse, the sci fi savage. This episode was directed by Jordan Canning, whose last work in the franchise was right between those 2 episodes, season 2, episode 15, Charades, which we discussed with the Trek Queen of NYC, Flip Kiki, another romantic comedy episode. That's a good one. Guest stars. it's Reese Darby. It's Reese Darby all day long for this. We've got some other people that pop up, but they are going to pop up again later down the line. So we will give them their due in future episodes. But Reese Darby as wedding planner. Reese is an actor and comedian from New Zealand, best known for his roles in Jim Carrey's Yes Man and 22 episodes of Flight of the Conchords. You've also heard his voice in Arthur Christmas, Trolls, 64 episodes of Voltron, Legendary Defender, as well as episodes of Bob's Burgers and The Great North. So, Amy, we come to another question that we ask every episode on the show. Is this essential viewing? If somebody is working their way through the franchise and they get to this episode, Wedding Bell Blues, is this a must-see episode? Or is this one that they can skip?
All right.
It's stuffy. It's doozy.
Yeah. Okay, listen, skip it. Don't tell Trek geeks I said that because they have this whole thing of see it or skip it. And I'm always usually the one, see it.
Yeah.
But this one, okay, you can skip. Nurse Chapel comes back with a boyfriend. Ortega's still dealing with Gorn stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's about all you need to know.
Yeah, I think I'm going to echo your side as well. I think there's definitely, if you're following, I'm a big fan of like following particular character tracks. So if you're following a Spock track, if you're following an Ortega's track or a Pike track or whatever. But the thing is this is the third episode of like Spock and Chapel broke up. Like we went over it in Subspace Rhapsody quite well in Subspace Rhapsody.
So well done.
I felt like we got closure in Hegemony. That was also very well done. I feel like we in terms of the Spock Chapel thing, I feel like we're kind of beating a dead horse at this point.
Exactly.
We do see the genesis of a lot of things. As I already mentioned, so we've got stuff with Ortegas, which is going to come back around. We're setting things up for the documentary episode. That's going to come back around. We're setting things up with Chapel and Dr. Corby. That's going to come back around.
And we're setting things up with the nurse guy that didn't get transferred off.
Yes. I knew there was another plot line I was forgetting.
Yep.
We're setting him up again. He's been serving on the ship for 3 months now, presumably.
Yeah.
This is the first that we're seeing of him, and clock's ticking for this dude.
Yes.
He seems like a really cool guy, and I wish I hope the best for him.
I hope the best for him. Yes.
But yeah, we see the genesis of a lot of things. Like I said, a lot of seeds are getting planted in this episode, but are they super vital? I don't think so. Like in terms of the Federation's 100th anniversary, like
yeah,
Pike gives frankly an unprepared, easily dismissed speech.
Okay.
The worst Pike speech ever.
I'm like, no, this cannot be my Captain Pike. This just cannot be. It had to have been a hangover from the Q timeline because it was seriously the worst. And blah, blah, blah. We have alcohol. What? Really?
I will
say. For the 100th?
And the bar is open. Like,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you need to skip the episode just for that and never watch that again.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. Reese Darby's very watchable, very entertaining. We do get some funny turns. I will say, I think this may even be the first time I'm saying this. I don't think this is vital narratively, and I don't think it's vital for any character track. But if you're a genre fan of romantic comedies, then you're going to enjoy this episode.
Agreed.
But if you can do without, they've done romantic comedies more than once, and Strange New Worlds. Here's another one. So yeah, I think you can skip this one.
Mhm.
And of course, at the end of the day, it's Star Trek. So yeah, watch everything. But
Yeah, you're gonna watch it. Who are we kidding?
of course. Well, Amy, thank you so much for making the time and sticking through with me and the technical issues.
Yeah, it's sort of funny when I was complaining that the Wedding Bell Blues had no technical fun stuff. We got it all on this podcast.
We take care of that. Listen, whatever you're not getting from Star Trek, you'll find it here on Computer Resume Podcast. Back us on Patreon. Any parting thoughts before we go about this episode, about the series Strange New Worlds, about the franchise as a whole, about another wonderful interaction and experience, I think, here on the Computer Resume Podcast? Any parting thoughts before we go?
You know, I really, truly love Strange New Worlds. I did not think I was going to enjoy it so much, especially after season 2 of Discovery, which I wasn't a big fan of bringing back Pike and Spock. And I was like, what? We have Discovery, we have new characters. Let's just roll with it.
Yeah.
And then they bring in Strange New Worlds, and season 1 and season 2, my goodness gracious. Best part of Star Trek in this new era. Hands down.
Yeah,
We'll
arguably.
watch it
Yeah.
over and over. It's episodic. There's character growth. It's exciting. Music, actors, like Strange New Worlds. And all the other new ones are good too. But this one really has captured my heart. And I'm hoping for season 4 and this crap 5 is just going to continue its brilliance.
Folks, next time we will be joined by Joe Dove from Captain's Quadrant for a discussion of Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 3, Episode 3, Shuttle to Kenfori, which is available wherever you decide to watch Star Trek. It should be a good episode. Joe requested this episode personally, so I think he's definitely got some thoughts on it. It's bound to be a good one. Amy, tell folks where they can find all of the Star Trek goodness that you're involved in and where people can reach out to you directly on the interwebs.
Well, listen, you just come on over to BQN. We've got you covered there. We have YouTube shows, lovely Davey and his Trek Masters trivia show.
Yes.
It's super fun. It's super fun. Our View Screen, another YouTube live show that I host, and that's just sort of all of our favorite friends. We do cocktail segments and cosplay and cruising and convention tips and astronomy and wine. Like, it's just really fun Star Trek adjacent stuff, if you will. That really are one of the two best shows on the network. So yeah, check us over on BQN.
And where can people reach out to you directly if they want to tell you how awesome you are, or that they agree that you might not be the best at math?
Oh, well, you send that to Todd Davis.
I had to get that one little, let me just turn this knife one more time.
Listen, you can find me at BQN Podcast. That is on Facebook, our Facebook group. And we also have a Discord server, but Facebook and Instagram, BQN Podcasts is where I'm at.
And I am at Mr. Todd A. Davis on all of the socials. From all of us at the Computer Resume Podcast, thank you so much for listening. And I'll see you in 10 Forward.
us on Patreon and like, rate, review, and share on all your favorite platforms. Feel free to send us your subspace transmissions to computerresumepodcast@gmail.com or at Computer Resume on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. The Computer Resume podcast was created and produced by Mr. Todd A. Davis. Our logo was designed by Will Martin and Justin Bishop. The opening theme was produced by Justin Bishop, and our outro music was provided with permission by Dronode. Additional music was provided by Mr. Todd A. Davis and Gary Horn, and the voice of Computer Resume podcast and executive producer, me, Kat Davis. Hashtag LLAP. We'll see you next time.
Going through a Star Trek. We're doing Star Trek stuff in space. We probably got some phasers and shuttle pods, and we're gonna find a brand new race.
That's it.
Okay.
So much fun.
I totally forgot to thank you for having me come on, Todd.
How's that for a slice of fried gold?